Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Married Now Widowed. We're your hosts. I'm Kayla.
And I'm Nadine, and this podcast is about navigating life after loss through unfiltered conversations.
Hi everyone.
Hello, welcome back.
Welcome. Okay, in this episode, we are going to talk about what we thought was going to happen versus what actually happened in terms of grieving and losing someone close to us.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to start off
Yep.
with one. So I thought that, and we've spoken about this in detail in other episodes, I thought that family, friends, whoever would have more patience for my grief.
Oh.
I didn't think that there was a timeline that society has formed
Yes.
as to when and how you should grieve, when enough is enough, how you should act, etc. I had no idea about that, to be honest.
Yep.
Because I personally have never really looked at someone that's grieving even like 10, 15 years later and thought, oh, that's enough now. It's none of my business really. But I didn't think that that was a thing.
Yep.
And I feel like I've actually had some really shocking things said to me if I have spoken about it or if I have still felt a certain way about it.
What if I think we covered this in the previous.
Yeah, like things
are you not
like,
over it?
Yeah, things like, oh, still carrying on like that, or
That's
still
wild
talking
to me.
about it. I thought people would have a little bit more empathy for the subject. Turns out not. So that's one thing that definitely shocked me.
Yeah.
Sometimes I still get shocked hearing things.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah,
oh my God,
and in
you are
time,
heartless.
a lot of things will continue to shock you, I think.
Because I think people feel like the initial sting has worn off, so they feel more free to say things like that and speak like that.
Yeah.
And I also think actually the closer they are to you, the more freedom they feel like they have with their words and their opinions. So that was one.
Yeah, that is, I don't know how I feel about that one.
I think it's crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy. My one's also about family and friends.
Okay. Oh.
Or just people in general.
Right.
I think at the beginning you think that family and friends will be there forever and will forever check up on you.
Oh, yeah.
The grief train.
Yes.
Watch that episode. It's one of my favorite episodes. You think at the beginning that they will forever be there for you, that they're forever going to check up on you.
Totally.
They're forever going to, do things for you.
No, they don't.
They actually don't.
hop off really quick. You don't even have to go that far into your grief journey for people to start jumping off.
Some people do jump off really, really quickly.
Yeah.
But just that initial period, like straight after, all those people that were there for you, later on.
See you later.
Yeah, they're not there anymore.
Yeah.
And some people weren't even there to begin with.
Yeah, no, didn't even get on the train. I know, they just waved after the funeral. I was like on
You
the
were
train.
driving
They're like,
by and they're
bye-bye.
like, see ya.
See ya.
That
Out of the
one's-
group chat.
Yep.
Not talking to you anymore. I'm not allowed to talk to you anymore. See you later. Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah.
I found that quite interesting too. Like that was, definitely something that I did not expect or did not think would happen, but happened, etc.
Yeah. Crying?
Oh,
Yeah. I thought I'd be crying
For the
every
rest of your
single
life?
day for the rest of my life.
Agree.
I
I agree with that. That is,
When really you're
No.
not crying every day. Maybe at the beginning, or in your case, you didn't cry at all. Or not in front of people.
In my case, I'm just
not in front of
cold-hearted.
people, but I thought that every morning I would wake up, I would be bawling my eyes out.
Yeah.
At the beginning, it was very, very difficult because I think every morning that I woke up, I was like, is this real?
Yeah, of course,
Did this happen?
Yeah.
Like,
this is really hard to explain unless you've been through it, but I'll never forget. It's so weird. I don't know if I'm going to do it any justice trying to put it into words, but I'll never forget, right? When someone first passes away and you're going through all the things and you're feeling very heavy and everything, you're just a fucking mess, right?
Yeah.
Your eyes are always swollen. You're exhausted. You don't know what's going on. And I'm talking like first few days, right? I'll never forget going to sleep, heavy, exhausted, miserable, whatever, waking up and for 1 second, like 0.01 of a second, forgetting.
Yeah.
And then it like hit me like I'll never forget that feeling. It was like a split second of like, it's a new day. And then I remembered everything.
I don't think that happened to me.
Oh my God, that happened to me once where I woke up, but I'm talking, babe.
That happens to me now.
Oh, what about? What, you wake up happy and then you realize you're miserable?
No, like I think
do you mean?
No, like, and again, it's very hard to explain and if you haven't been through it, but I think because time has gone on, not that I've forgotten. Of course I haven't forgotten. I have 2 children from him. Like, you know, I was married to him for 12 years or whatever it was. But I think sometimes I forget about what I've gone through.
Yeah, yeah. And do you feel light for a moment?
No, like I'll just be going about my day normal and then it'll be like, oh, he died.
Yeah. See, but that's like, another thing. You're not going to get it unless you've felt it. You won't understand.
And again, this is like 4.5 years in. Yeah. And I'm like, oh.
But it's so hard to put into words the actual weight. You feel it. You're like light for a second and then you're like, oh. And then everything just comes back. Like it's so weird. It's so weird. I'll never forget feeling that. On the subject of crying for the rest of your life, moving forward and meeting new people. That is one thing I thought I would never be able to. No way. Never. I'll never get remarried. I'll never have a partner again. I'll never even talk to someone again. How could I? I
will
hate
never
everyone.
entertain it.
100%.
Yeah.
I thought that there was just no way. I could not see the light for a good, I would say like a good year. I could
even
shut
longer
it down.
maybe.
Shut it down. People would suggest it. People would think, say like, oh, like you're a single mom. Like it would be good if you had support. I would just shut it down all the time. That's a big one for me. I could not see the light. I never thought I'd have a future with anybody. I never thought I would even date anybody. Like don't worry about getting remarried and having children. I'd never even date anyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's something that I didn't think was going to be possible ever. But as time went on, definitely my opinions on that changed. I was very strong on my opinions. And this is my character. I talk too much fucking rubbish and then God will give me that situation and then I have to shut my mouth.
Oh, I know.
Yeah. You know that very well.
Front row.
Front row, that is true. You do have a front row seat in my life. How lucky. It's just a thing that I do. I do it always. I will fucking go so hard on an opinion and then God will be like, yeah, there you go. Yeah, you're in that situation. And then I'm like, oh, okay, I see.
Yeah.
So now I try really hard to shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Or I say like, I talk my shit and then I'm like, please God, like forgive me. I know I'm saying the wrong thing. I don't mean to judge.
Don't throw it in my face later.
Like, please don't give me the situation. I don't want it.
Yeah.
So that happens to me often. And that did happen again to me because I was like, no, I could never feel again. I'm never going to have feelings. I'm going to be an old, miserable widow. I'm going to wear black for the rest of my life and I'm just going to be miserable and my kid is going to grow up and just get married and leave me and I'm going to be all on my own and just
That's another one I think people like want to, like they think, oh, I have to wear black for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
But then they don't.
Yeah, no. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's quite rare though, unless you're a little bit older maybe.
Yeah. Another one is, I think I've spoken about this. When Mick passed away, I kept putting pressure on myself that once I got to the 12 months, I will be okay. Now, there were 2 things about that. There was the judgment, which I still stand by. At 12 months, I didn't care about what people thought about me or whatever.
You have a 12-month complex.
But because I think
you've got a thing with the 12-month mark and I don't know if it's healthy, but anyway.
Because I think that's what, like, you're getting the pressure from society.
Yeah, okay.
12 months.
I know you still strongly believe that part.
I do.
I know, yeah.
I do. In terms of judgment, I stand by that. After 12 months, no one's going to give a shit. Or they still will give a shit, but you don't put that pressure on yourself.
Yeah.
Once 12-month part, and I'm talking about a widow, okay? Yeah. Once that 12 months comes by, you don't care about what people think about you. You don't care whether you're seen at dinner. You care less about it, okay? But in terms of how you feel, I always felt once 12 months comes, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
You're going to be okay. Yeah. You'll be okay at that point. No, you're fucking not.
What happened to you, honey?
I think month? I was like probably worse than the first year. Entering that second year was probably worse than the first year.
Absolutely, of course. Yeah.
I honestly thought that I was suffering.
I know, you were such a believer of the 12-month
brutal suffering, right? Mm-hmm. I'm like, once I get to 12 months, I'm going to be better. Yeah. I'm going to feel better.
Yeah. Nope. No.
Absolutely not.
Nah. Felt worse.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. I get that.
Another thing, I think we think that children are resilient and that they will, I don't want to say get over it quicker, but that they're resilient and, you know, they
are resilient.
They are 1,000%. I will never take that away from my children, because when anyone would ask me something about my kids, I'd be like, my kids are so resilient. Children are resilient. They, you know, they
Absolutely.
just adapt and but no, like they still suffer.
Of course they do. They
still fucking suffer.
They are. Look, it's interesting, right? They are resilient, 100%. But on the other hand, things affect them, especially in their foundation, like years where they're building blocks in life and shaping them as adults and etc. Things do fuck them up.
Of course.
And it does affect them. Another one that I didn't know a lot about it, because I can't say I've looked into grief prior to this experience. However, I knew the general consensus about the stages of grief, and I knew what the stages were, etc. I was under the impression that you followed the stages. So you start from stage 1, then you go to stage 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. No.
You can go from 1 to 7, 7 to
5,
4.
Back to 1, 1 for 6 months, 3 for 8 months, 4 for a day.
Yeah.
1 day, half a day, an hour. Yeah. It's all over the place. It's very messy. It's not a straight line. I don't think most people will go through the stages of grief as they're written on Google. I don't.
And I also think that support people maybe don't know that there are 7 stages of grief.
Yeah.
So like if you are a support person, I would highly recommend just doing a little bit of research and educating yourself on the 7 stages of grief, because I feel like you might see your friend, your cousin, your sister, your whoever, all normal one day.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then 3 weeks later or a month later, they're like in a hole.
That's right.
Or, you know, bringing up things.
That's
or,
right.
you know, like just going from different stages.
Absolutely.
So, and they probably think they're fucking bipolar. I don't know what people think.
100%.
But at the end of the day, there are 7 stages of grief.
Absolutely.
And we have a whole episode dedicated to it.
We do. So that's really beneficial to watch if you're supporting someone that's grieving.
And just keep that in mind, because I think people forget. And
100%.
like I said, some people don't know.
Absolutely.
So if you are seeing somebody who has lost someone significant in their life and they're a little bit, you know, erratic or going all over the place, like just understand that they're probably just going through the 7 stages of grief.
Totally. I want to jump in with a story before I continue, right? So something that sort of took me back a few steps in the moment, right? So I've spoken, I don't know if I've actually spoken about this on the podcast, but so I mean, and don't come at me for different rulings and teaching. Like, I don't know. I'm just generally speaking. I am under the impression that Islamically, the best thing to do with your deceased person's belongings is to donate them immediately, right? Yes. They say the sooner the better. Again, I don't know who's they. I don't know who fucking, I don't know. I don't want to hear it. So
they do say that.
Thank you. Well, you can take that when people say, I'm not interested.
They do say, I think it's 40 days.
I'm just not getting involved in these Islamic conversations because it's too much for me on TikTok, right? So that's the general sort of thing. When my husband first passed away...
People aren't going to be that proud of me.
That's right. Not me either. So when my husband first passed away, I don't remember the exact story. I remember telling you, but I don't remember actually what happened. So if you're a family member and you're watching this, don't quote me. I don't know if you said this or not. But someone had said, find out what Kayla's doing with his stuff because it's best to donate it
ASAP. And I think this was in sort of the first month of this all happening, right? So once again, that was a moment where I'm like, absolutely not. Everything will remain in this house the way he left it, right? And I had really strange things remaining. Powerade bottles, shampoo bottles. I had it all going on for years in that house, okay? I didn't pack away anything, didn't change anything. In my view, there was no need to because I was in the same house. I'm not moving, so I don't need to pack up his room or do anything. It's just all the same, right? I'm not moving anyone in. We're not moving out. Just keep it the same, right? So I kept it the same for years up until I moved out of our family home. But then I still didn't want to let go of anything.
Yeah.
So I put it all in a storage unit.
Yes.
Right? What's the point of that when I never visit the storage unit? I don't know. Just a mental thing. Just want to keep it with me, right? Fine. Did that and then moved into another house. Got it out of the storage unit, brought it with me into my new house, right? Didn't set it all back up, just brought it with me, right? It's like I'm like
hoarding.
Yes. I'm carrying someone's stuff for my whole life, right? Which is fine. Now, not recently because obviously the stuff in Palestine has been going on for a long time, but obviously it's amped up recently, and my in-laws wanted to ask if I could keep what I wanted and let go of what I didn't want so that we could send the clothing and the shoes and all that over there, which obviously I think is great, right? Definitely, totally, that's fantastic. So many rewards for that, for Mohammed, for me, for everyone, right? So I was like, you know what? Okay. So anyway, I was like, you know what? They're in boxes. They don't need to be in boxes, okay? We can keep some stuff that I feel like I want, things that I remember him wearing, sentimental things, etc. And I think it is a good idea to donate, right? Yeah. I was like, okay, cool. I'm on board. Reasonable request, right? So I did that and I was feeling all strong about it. I was like, it's okay. It's nothing bad. You're keeping what you want to keep. The other stuff, things he's never worn, shoes he's never worn. How is that sentimental to me?
It's not.
He's never worn them, right? So I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. So I dropped them off at my in-laws. Cool, done, whatever. But as I was packing them into the car, I was like spiraling. I just feel myself spiraling. I was like searching through them because I wanted to see like, what do I want to keep, etc. And like when I was bringing them out, a bit of memories in certain, outfits, certain shoes, whatever, but I was still okay. I was like, this is normal. This is a normal part of it. But then packing them out, taking them out of my house to send somewhere else, I was spiraling.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm okay, but I just like, okay.
Need a minute.
Yeah.
And this is another thing where you thought you probably would never let go of this shit for the rest of your life.
I was adamant that I was just going to keep it forever and just hoard it around for the rest of my life.
Correct.
Yeah. And it's funny concept though, right? Because technically you're carrying someone's entire house with you for the rest of your life, right?
Pretty much.
All their belongings.
So my garage, I think I've discussed this on a previous episode. Yeah. My cousin and I lived together, and her father, my uncle, passed away from cancer also. 10 years ago. Anyway, so she has a lot of my uncle's stuff that's sentimental, and I still have a lot of mixed stuff. So our garage is mainly occupied by dead people things. Sweaty.
It's like a
Do you know how much storage I would have in my garage?
Oh, I can imagine.
If we went hoarding dead people things.
Yeah, I can imagine. Of course you would. Yeah. Absolutely.
And similar to you, I thought I would never ever let go of mixed stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, I moved into my mother-in-law's for a little bit, hoarded the stuff, moved out, moved into another house, hoarded the stuff. Then when we moved into the house that we're in now, that was when I was carrying 10 luggage suitcases.
Yeah, I know.
That's what I'm hoarding. All of his clothes. No, his clothes were just in the suitcases. Yeah. Then I've got boxes of
belongings.
Of his toiletries bag and his whatever, right?
That's right.
And so when we moved, it was like, okay, Nadine, get a fucking grip of yourself. Like you can't be walking around,
it's a bit
moving
ridiculous,
from house to house, like
just
with 10 suitcases.
I feel like if he could see you, he would just laugh.
He would think I'm nuts.
Laugh. Yeah.
He would think I'm nuts.
It is so
He'd be like,
nutty.
what's wrong with you?
I know,
like,
what are you doing?
And so like you, we let go of a lot of the stuff that didn't hold sentimental value.
Yeah.
And then we kept a lot of the stuff that, you know, meant something to us. But, you know, we wear his clothes. Liana wears his socks. You know, his pajamas, that's what I sleep in.
Yeah,
like I sleep in his pajamas. Like, you know what I mean? So it's like at the beginning you think that you will never get rid of their things. You are going to keep it for the rest of your life. But then in time you do start to think a little bit more, you know, realistically and logically.
Well, firstly, it's unrealistic, really, right? Yeah. If we take emotion out of it, it's just unrealistic to keep rocking up to your new house with a ton of a deceased person's belongings. Like it's a lot. And it's not like a small box. We're talking like their whole life in boxes and luggage.
I'm talking like, you know, his motorbike helmet, his board games. Like he had these games that I don't know, like Vegas fucking what are they called?
Yeah, like just
things,
everything.
Just every babe.
I know.
We went to America one year and he brought back like 5. I think I've spoken about this, about 5 like nail clippers, nose clippers. Like, babe, what am I doing with that?
What is that? 100%. Babe, I had empty med boxes. Empty boxes of medication, cardboard from the pharmacy. And I was like, oh, got to keep that.
You know, that was one thing I got rid of straight away. I don't know why.
The meds, really?
I grabbed them and I launched them.
Oh, really?
Very quickly.
Really? Yeah, okay, that's interesting.
People were taking some stuff.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
The endo.
Do you know how many people, on a serious note, do you know how many people since his death have been like, hey, so... I know it's like so, but you got any endones? What the?
And for those that don't know, when you get diagnosed with cancer and you're in a lot of pain, you're like, I remember going to the doctor and I think he was going through chemo or at that point, and we hadn't had the surgery, but we went to the doctor and he was like, I am in a lot of like, I cannot, you know? And then I remember the doctor had to ring Canberra.
Yes, yeah.
And get like special authorization, and they give you this special authorization number. And like he had to call and say, I need 16 repeats of endone. And Canberra's like, yep, what's the reason? And he's like, oh, cancer patient. And then they give you this number and like, they're on endo, like you have a lot of endone laying around.
And not like just endone, like you've just got a lot of drugs, drugs that people love.
Yes.
Right? Like crazy painkiller stuff.
We had like, CBD oil, THC oil. I had, you know, people going, you got any oil?
Yeah.
So I gave away the full ones. Yeah. But then the ones that he was using that still like, have some in it, they're right by my bedside table.
Yeah. No, I get that. I totally get that. I was very like, I'm not going through it, so I can't tell you if there is stuff that you would like there. Maybe one day, but right now, I'm just not in a position to go through it. But it's just so funny how many like friends reach out after and they're like, what does he have left? I'm like, guys, really?
That's right.
Like, seriously?
Exactly.
So funny. So another thing that I wanted to touch on when it comes to what I thought was going to happen versus what happened is... I thought that grief would change the one aspect of my life, my relationship, right? I thought I would be sad. I thought it would be a sad time, whatever. I didn't realize that it would change me as a person.
Yeah.
And everything around me and the way I viewed things, my opinions on things, my relationships moving forward, my friendships moving forward, my thoughts moving forward, my ability to understand other people's grief. Like it just totally changes you as a person.
It does.
And that's definitely something that I wasn't prepared for or I hadn't even considered that it would change my life in that way.
Of course, because I'm sure that, you know, put aside the grief train, but there would be, I think, people in your life that you think or that you thought would be there for the rest of your life, regardless of whether they were on that train with you or not, okay? But then as you evolve and as you've changed based on what you've gone through, there are so many people that you've axed out of your life because they just don't align with, you know, your values, morals,
That's
or
right.
whatever it is.
The new you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because it really is a new version of you after you lose
and
someone close.
I don't know, maybe we should do another episode on this, but I think the person I am today through my grief journey is not the person that I was last year through my grief journey.
Of course, absolutely.
Yeah.
You're always changing, but I think the initial effect of such a great loss just reshapes you.
Yeah, it does.
As a person, whether it means you become softer or kinder or more understanding or more patient, whatever you become, you definitely become something different. And I think that it's really sad when grief occurs and people become a worse version of themselves.
Yeah.
I think that when I say a worse version, I don't mean not a great friend, etc. I mean a nastier version, because as we've spoken about so many times, when something like this happens to you, you do lose motivation.
Yeah.
Sometimes you don't want to respond to a message, you can't be bothered. Sometimes you don't want to hang out with your friends, you can't be bothered, especially in those really early stages. So I don't mean like that. I mean makes you nasty and bitter and miserable. I think that's really sad when that happens to people. Like, you know, I before, and I've said this I think once before I had met Billy Dibb, I had followed his journey on social media, and I'm not your sporty gal, so I don't know anything about anything. Some reason I followed him, came up on my For You page, and I was watching his journey and I was like, oh, you know, that's really sad and whatever. And then I think he had gone into remission after Muhammad had died. I'm pretty sure that was the timeline. It's a bit blurry for me. But I just remember being so happy for him. Like, he was a total stranger. Pretty sure Muhammad had died, but I was just so happy for him. I was just like, oh my God, this is great news. He's got a wife, he's got a child. I'm so happy for him. This is great. You know, I was just over the moon. It was great news. I didn't even know him, and it was great news, right? But then I see other people that say really interesting comments on social media, not directed at Billy himself, but I mean just people and loss in general. So if they see that someone posts on TikTok like, you know, this is my whatever round of chemo, I'm finally in remission, they're ringing the bell or they're putting their fingerprint on the wall or whatever, I'll see really toxic comments like just resentful that their person died. Do you know what I mean? Or their parent died or whatever from it, and why couldn't that be? And I just think that's so unhealthy. I think it's so unhealthy to form that view on life. I've never ever met someone with cancer or seen someone survive cancer and think anything, like correlate that to my husband dying or why
so
me.
So just on that, I was speaking to my accountant yesterday, and his wife's been diagnosed with an aggressive form of breast cancer. And so I needed to ask him like a question, whatever. Obviously, I was going to ask him about his wife. And so it was like a vent session, right, for him. And I like, obviously, you know, as a caretaker, you know what that person is going through.
Of course.
And so he was saying things to me like, I'm just trying to block out all the noise. I don't want any negativity. I just can't deal with it. And then he said, you know, like when you tell people that, for example, like my wife's been diagnosed with breast cancer, he said, you know, people will turn around and say, oh, my mother-in-law, you know, she was diagnosed with breast cancer. She suffered for 6 months and then died.
And
that's
he's like, great.
How are you offering, like they want to be relatable, but like they're not being, it's so much negativity,
of course.
You know? And I said to him, I said, try and block all of that out because everybody's individual experience is so different. I said, you know, like for example, when I find out that somebody is diagnosed with the same form of cancer that Mick was diagnosed with, yes, my husband's was tragic and he passed, but I always give that person hope and say, you know what? There are so many people who are like 20 years of like no evidence of disease. Don't worry about what he went through. Look at the other, like the positive, stories that have come out. And
absolutely.
It's just like, why are we, you know, why are we tying the two together? It's not.
And, you know, I feel like a lot of people do that when it comes to really anything in life. But with cancer and stuff, they do that, oh, I know my auntie's sister had this and this is what she did and whatever. And I don't think it comes from a bad place. But what I will say is, even though the result of that person is the result, so maybe they did die, right? I know with me, when it comes to a client that's talking about a family member or themselves or a friend that's currently going through treatment or whatever, I will obviously give advice and try and be super positive. And, you know, I like to hear about treatments and what they're doing. And, you know, obviously in clear cell sarcoma, I have a lot of knowledge because of Mohammed. I don't have a lot of knowledge about cancers in general, medications in general, but in that particular one I do.
Yeah.
And when I do give advice and whatever, sometimes I won't say my husband died from cancer, but I will say somewhere along the conversation, oh yeah, no, I totally understand. You know, my husband went through treatment and he did this and that. And if they don't ask me about thing, I won't give the end result. If they do, I do feel a little bit like, but I try and run past it. I'm like, oh, well, he died. But anyway, I know a lot of people that, well, like, you know what I mean? Because like, okay, let's not talk about the negative.
Yeah,
this is not a time to be negative.
Yeah.
We have to be positive. Don't worry about that. My husband's case is completely different. Everyone's an individual, right? There's a lot of people that survive it. There's a lot of people that whatever. Just because my husband didn't survive, I still feel like I have a lot of knowledge and a lot of advice and know a lot about it, and would love to share remedies or, you know, treatments that I feel like I saw improvement, just in case someone else gets something out of it.
Definitely.
You know, but I do, that is like an awkward part. We're like, so how's he doing now? Do you remember that? Anyway, you know, blah, blah, blah. Because I'm like, I don't want to get to that. Not for me, for you. I don't want to put that on you. I don't want to bring any negative energy into your space, because you know what? To be honest, if I, God forbid, had an illness, like, fuck, I would hate to hear like
negative stories.
Someone else had an illness, but they're dead.
Right, and that's the thing. Like, is it because people are uneducated? I think, and they're not. They're trying to be. And he said this to me. He said, "I think people are trying to be relatable." He was like, "You would know all about this. Like, you were in this position." He's like, "People are trying to be relatable." He goes, "But they're not fucking being relatable."
And I feel like that's why our channel is so beneficial to people that not just are widows or grieving, people that are supporting people that know people that are close to them that are grieving,
definitely,
or going through something. And you know, our channel will help you find the right things to say and let you know what the wrong things to say are, because I do believe that a vast majority of people, not everyone, but the majority of people really are just trying to help, and they're not coming with malice intent.
No, they're not.
You know, I know.
But I think when people are going through something like at that moment, like that, you know, whether that be somebody's just died or someone's going through a cancer treatment, and they're like, they don't think of it that like, I'm not thinking, oh, they mean well. I'm thinking, are you fucked?
Not.
Why would you tell me that your grandmother's mother's uncle died?
Of course.
Why would you tell me that?
Of course.
You know?
Absolutely. And it's easy to feel
now
like
I understand.
That. Of course.
But in the moment, you're like, fuck off.
Your emotions are so heightened. You're all over the place. You have no sense of
nothing
processing anything. So I totally, totally understand how that could make someone feel, even if it's not the other person's intentions. However, I feel like, and we've said this so many times on the podcast, and I really stand by it. If you don't know what to say, just don't say anything. It's better. You can be there. You don't necessarily have to say words. You can just be there.
You can just say, I'm so sorry.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. And as I said, in the last episode that we did, or the one before, that's what I experienced with my family member who had just lost someone as well. You know, I tried to articulate myself in the best way that I know how, because I have the experience, and I did that. But in the moment, I didn't even like try and whatever. I just hugs, you know, like, just, you know, I'm here. I feel you. That's it. If you like it, you just don't have to talk all the time.
You know, another one would be like when Mick died, I felt like the whole world would just pause.
Yeah.
Everything would pause.
Totally.
And it would just stand still.
Totally.
Right?
Because your world is.
But really, the world's still moving.
Not even the fucking phone company gives you a break. Hello? You haven't paid your bill. He's dead. Jesus. Give me a minute. Can I have a minute?
Have we done an episode on that?
I don't know.
On fucked up things?
We should. That would be a funny one. Fucked up things in general people do.
Dogs.
Yeah. And you know what I love? Like, I feel bad for them, babe. They work for the company. They are not the company. They're trying to give you time, but they're also honest. They've got a time limit themselves. So it's like, oh, I'm so sorry you've lost your partner, but I need like the money within a week. Sorry, thanks, condolences. Goodbye. Catch you in a week. Okay. It's okay. I get it.
Yep.
I get it. It's fine.
Yep.
I get it. It's not their fault. They're trying, but it is funny because you think everything stops. You don't know what day it is. You don't know what you have. Nothing. See, everything.
You think bills are paused.
See, literally, you think bills
Rent
are paused.
is paused.
Everything's
bills are paused. Mortgage paused.
Yeah.
Everything's paused.
100%. But it's not. And I think that's what a lot of people struggle with. And I actually hear people say that often. They're like, my world stopped, but the real world kept going.
1,000%.
And people really struggle with that. But that's the realities of grief, right? Your world might be affected and your world may have stopped and paused, but everyone's around you keeps on going. And I think sometimes it's also difficult to see close people around you, their world continuing. You're like, hey, I'm here, I'm stuck in time, I don't know what's going on, whatever. But then everyone around you is still doing their normal routine.
Everyone around you is going on holidays,
right?
Like doing things.
And you know what I love? Like, this is so mean. Like, if anyone like did this at the time, like, it's fine. I'm not offended very easily, you know. But like, people be like, oh, sorry, I know it's like we won't be able to make the 40 days because we're going to Disneyland with the family.
Stop it.
Yeah. And it's like,
did that happen?
Yeah. A couple holidays before the 40 days. And it's like, you know what? Do you, hun? Go off. You know me. I'm a big believer in fucking live your life.
Yeah.
Live your life, right? So, and obviously, like, you're expected to be at the 40-day thing, especially if you think that, you know, babe, these families have had these things booked for months.
They're not expecting someone to die.
Someone died, right? So I'm like, you know what? Have the best time. Have the best time.
Yeah.
Like, go. But I just think it's
I had
funny.
a family member, like when my grandfather passed away, they were flying out the day after my grandfather passed away.
Holiday?
Yeah.
I love when it's a holiday because it's a fun thing and it's just so awkward. Like, if it's something serious, like, oh, I'm so sorry, I've got something on for work.
No.
We're going to Disneyland with the kids, guys. Yeah, I love that.
But what
so
do you do
funny.
in that scenario?
Nothing.
Especially when you've paid, like, for your whole family.
You
like,
go.
You do what you got to do.
You know what? I really feel as though you, as the person that's grieving, you can't be offended by that. You can't. It's like, they're not doing it on, but they didn't find out he died and then book a holiday.
Tickets.
Yeah, like, come on, like, seriously, you have to have a little bit of grace for people.
Yeah.
Or I think another really funny one that happened as well was weddings.
Well, yeah.
Really close family because, you know, obviously my husband was Lebanese, so he's got so many cousins, like hundreds of cousins everywhere. And everyone's getting married at some stage or whatever. So I think weddings are a really funny one. It's like, we don't want to invite you because we're going to offend you, but we also don't want to not invite you because that's also offensive. So we don't know what the fuck to do.
Yeah.
So advice, please. But our kid's getting married 2 weeks after he died. So sorry, what do we do? It's like they're in a sticky situation.
I know.
But I have absolutely zero resentment, zero. I just feel like, you know what? It's nobody's fault.
No, of course not.
Anyone with half a brain would know that they'll probably be at that wedding and think about that person multiple times.
So I'll give you an example speaking about weddings. My cousin's daughter was getting married 6 months after Mick passed away.
Right.
I think it was 6 months. Okay. And her grandmother was telling her she needed to cancel the wedding. And I was like, come on. It's been 6 months. Like, stop it.
Yeah.
Like, stop it. This girl has had everything planned. Yeah. Like, and this is, you know, my mum's uncle's wife telling her she needs to cancel the wedding because, you know, Mick had passed away, whatever. And I'm like, no, we're not doing that.
Yeah. Your mum's uncle's wife was telling who?
Her granddaughter.
Is she related to Mick?
The granddaughter.
No, they're related to me.
Oh, yeah, right. Oh, yeah. Sorry. So what does it make her to you?
My cousin's daughter.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah, I'd say go off. Have the best wedding.
Literally.
Have fun.
Get married.
Do you? Yeah, fucking 100%. And you know why as well? I feel super strongly about it, even especially more so after Muhammad died, because I know how short life is. Like I know how precious it is, how short it is. Something like a wedding, a family holiday, you know, stuff like that.
Yeah.
It's memories. You're not going to get them back. You don't know what's around the corner.
No. And I know my mum's uncle's wife, like she meant well. She was
doing it out of respect for you.
Correct.
100%. 100%.
Yeah.
But I think it's unfortunate for people when they get put in those awkward situations. Do you know what I mean? Like I couldn't imagine having a holiday booked and then someone in your family dies and then you're like, fuck, how do I tell them I'm still going? That's
or if they have to cancel, if they know they have to cancel.
Yeah, that's even worse. Fuck. I'd be burning a little bit, not going to lie.
Yeah.
The whole holiday.
Like, do you have to die now?
Do you have to die now? It's rude. Just wait a bit. Any more that you were shocked about?
I don't know.
I think everything's shocking, to be honest, because I don't think you ever prepared.
It's not even like shocking. It's just that you think things will happen in a certain way when reality is that is not how they happen.
Yeah.
They do not happen like that.
And can I finish on this note? As everything in life, any big event, a birth, a death, a marriage, whatever, really, you don't know and you'll never know unless you go through it. And your experience is your own experience, right?
Yeah.
So you think you know something, and that's where people's opinions bother me, right? Because you think you know, but I can promise you don't, because I thought I knew too. I thought I knew what you thought you know. Do you know what I mean? I had the same opinions. I had the same, like concept of how things were going to play out and the right thing to do and the wrong thing to do, and likely had the same judgment too. I'm just not one to share judgment on people and affect other people's life because of my opinion. You know, I'll tell you how I feel about something, but I don't tell anyone else because it's not my business. You know, and I'm not miserable either. So, I'm cool to not judge people to their face and ruin their life anyway. So that for me is like one of those things where it's like, I thought I knew too. I thought that too. I thought I'd never meet anyone again as well. I get it. I thought I wasn't going to do this either. I get it. I thought I'd never go on a holiday. How could I? My last family holiday was with my partner. How could I ever remake that holiday again? But you do. Some people do, some people don't, actually. Disclaimer, some people never do. But some people do, and that's also okay.
Yeah. And also I think how you deal with things is very different to how somebody else who's going through
100%.
that is dealing with it. Like there's no right or wrong here.
Absolutely. 100%.
Yeah.
Well, thanks for listening, guys, to another episode.
Guys.
If you enjoyed it, please hit the subscribe button below this video. You can find us on all major platforms at Married Now Widowed. If you are grieving or you are supporting someone that's grieving, please look into our Facebook page. It's a safe space where we share everything and anything. So join us there at Married Now Widowed, and we'll see you next week. Bye, guys.
Bye.